Calling 2022 CR 5275, State of Texas versus Michael Juan Montoya. Could I have parties approach and announce for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Matthew Allen for Mr. Montoya.
Have both parties, are you Mr. Montoya?
Yes, sir.
Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses, state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Hernandez.
Michelle Hernandez. Michelle Hernandez? Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record and spell it, please.
Michelle Hernandez, MICHELLEHERNANDEZ.
All right, defense?
Ms. Hernandez, how old are you?
From the moment Michael's mother takes the stand, the emotional weight of this case becomes overwhelming. The defense is trying to build a story of trauma, paranoia, and mental decline, but the judge is already picking up on inconsistencies. Notice how the mother hesitates, softens her answers, and tries to minimize the chaos Michael grew up in. Judges see this all the time. Family members who try to protect the defendant, even when the truth would help more than the cover-up. This early testimony sets the tone, and the judge is already taking mental notes.
41.
Yeah, what do you do for work?
Contractor work with my boyfriend.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to make sure you speak up so that the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you live here in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
How do you know Michael?
He's my son.
Obviously, you know why we're here today.
Yes.
Okay. I guess around the time of this incident and when Michael was arrested, describe Michael's behavior.
Very paranoid. Just didn't trust anybody. He was always to himself.
On that day, do you know if Michael had used drugs?
Yes.
If you know, what did he use?
Marijuana and methamphetamine.
During this time period, was there anything else that, as far as Michael's behavior, that now maybe?
Just one moment. Counsel, I can't have you all talking behind the court reporter.
Sure.
You need to move him down to the other end. So you all can speak, Mr. States, and you all can speak in the box, but it just needs to be on that end. You may continue, counsel.
Thank you, Judge. Looking back now, that may be red flags about his behavior.
I don't.
Was he? Did he ever come? Did he or someone ever call the police about people outside?
There was a couple of incidents when he thought there was a few, like 10 guys. He said so. He's like, we're outside trying to kill him when there was no one outside. He called the cops three times in one night.
And
When Michael's mother describes him calling police multiple times because he believed 10 guys were outside trying to kill him, that's a massive red flag. Repeated calls, hallucination-level paranoia, and isolation, all signs of deep drug-induced psychosis. And yet, notice something important. She still talks about him like he's just acting different instead of acknowledging the seriousness. Judges look for honesty, accountability, and insight, and right now, they're getting none of that. It's becoming clear Michael wasn't the only one avoiding reality. His entire environment was built on denial.
again, with those types of behaviors, do you know? Obviously, you know Michael was using some drugs during that time.
Yes.
Now, describe Michael growing up as a child.
Very athletic, loving, caring, he's a hard worker.
Did you have problems with him?
No, none.
At the home, where is Michael's biological father?
I don't know.
Okay. Were there any issues with his biological father at the home?
Yes.
Okay.
There was violence with him and I.
And did Michael witness some of that?
Yes,
Did he witness alcohol abuse?
yes,
Did he witness people using drugs?
um. Yes,
And would you guys always be at the same house, or sometimes you'd have to go stay with his grandmother?
whenever his father and I would, I'd take them with me to my mom's.
Before this, was there any traumatic events? Did he lose anyone that he was close to?
His best friend.
His best friend.
Like 4 years, I believe, ago. And ever since then, I've seen a little.
Here's where the testimony shifts. The defense tries to paint Michael's childhood as loving and stable, but the judge immediately notices the cracks. Domestic violence, constant moving, exposure to alcohol and drugs, and the death of 2 close people before he even turned 17. For a developing teenager, that's a storm that never ends. But the judge isn't just listening to the facts. She's watching how the mother explains them. Blame is vague, details are blurry, and personal accountability is almost non-existent. And when a judge senses that, the courtroom energy changes.
Let me go a little downhill.
What about anyone in your family?
My brother, he was close to as well.
How long ago was that?
It was a year before that,
Um,
before his best friend.
and have you stayed in contact with Michael since he's been in jail?
Every day.
Is there anything else? Or I guess let me ask you this. You brought with you a notebook here today, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and what's in the notebook?
It's just pictures of Michael, a few of them that I have left over. I lost a lot of my things. And they're of him growing up with other family members or friends.
Did we tender it to the court? We're gonna,
Judge, I've viewed it. There's no objection.
All right, the court will review that, and I know how moms are about photographs, at least how my mom is. So I'm going to review it and then I'll return it to you.
that's my next question, Judge.
Yes.
Now, look, through the years, I guess, is this the same Michael during that time period, even a few months prior? Was that the same Michael that you knew growing up? Did you notice behavioral changes?
Yes.
Were you aware of his mental health and the extent of his drug abuse back then?
No.
Okay. Now that you are aware, you think that he needs help?
Yes.
Has he expressed a desire to get help?
Yes.
Has he expressed remorse about what's happened?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want Judge Boyd to know before making her decision?
Just thanks for listening.
Then the bomb drops. The prosecutor reveals that Michael wasn't just using meth. His own mother was using meth with him. That single moment flips the entire courtroom. You can literally feel the judge's patience snap. This isn't childhood trauma. This is active, ongoing parental failure. A parent using hard drugs with their child destroys every legal argument about bad influences or wrong crowd. You can see the judge realize that Michael didn't just fall, he was pushed, enabled, and surrounded by adults who normalized destruction.
Mr.
What was
Brown.
that again? Sorry, she couldn't take
Just
it.
thank you for listening to.
No,
Say.
thank you so much for coming in.
And the prosecutor may have some questions for
Okay.
you.
I just got a few quick
Yes.
questions, Your Honor. One, did you know the victim in this case?
Yes.
How was the victim?
He's a good friend.
A good man?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't deserve what happened to him, is that correct?
No.
Okay. And you're not aware of your son's drug use, is that right? The extent of it, that's what.
Not the extent of it, no.
Okay. But you used methamphetamine with him that same day. I'll
Okay.
move on to that next question. The fact is that your son even admits that he used on a daily basis, that he lived with you. He used marijuana, he used meth, and he used Xanax on a daily basis.
I didn't know of him doing all of those.
And you stated he had a good childhood. I saw the photos. And that he viewed some physical violence between you and your husband,
Yes,
and some physical violence between you and your boyfriend. Or boyfriend, one of your boyfriends,
well, okay, yeah, maybe once,
maybe once, so not an extended period of time.
yes,
Was he ever abused in the house?
no,
Sexually abused in the house?
no,
Was he ever sexually abused by anyone?
no.
Abused physically by anyone?
No.
Abused emotionally by anyone?
And then I know. of,
So the only time you saw the difference in his behavior is when he started using drugs on a daily basis since the day of 18 years old.
No,
You saw behavior before that you didn't
no,
mention yet.
I just seen the behavior change when his best friend and my brother passed on.
How old was he?
I believe he was 16.
16.
Mhm.
So he started using alcohol back in 6th grade. You're aware of that, aren't you?
As the mother tries to walk back her answers, the state exposes even more. Michael admits to using marijuana, meth, and Xanax daily, all while living with her. Childhood violence, instability, substance abuse, and zero boundaries, it all adds up to a perfect storm. But here's the key. Judges don't excuse murder because of bad childhoods. They consider it, but they don't erase consequences. The prosecutor is building a roadmap showing that every adult around Michael failed him, but he still made choices that destroyed a life.
No,
That's what he stated.
no.
So you're not aware of that. Where were you at during this time when he was in 6th grade and started using alcohol on daily, or at least
He
weekly,
was at my mother's house.
at your mother's house?
Yes.
Where were you?
I was not living with them there.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
I do. A question wasn't asked, wasn't answered. Were you using meth with your son? That's either yes or no.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, any other witnesses, defense?
No, Your Honor.
State any witnesses.
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, any arguments?
Yes, Judge.
All right, brief argument.
Yes, Judge. I'll make it brief. The court's aware we provided the report for Dr. Fabian. Look, Mr. Montoya, Michael is a 21-year-old with very limited history of any crimes. He was a normal young person, and then things outside of his control at that time when he's younger influenced him, and unfortunately influenced him in such a way that partly led us here today. And I don't say fully because he was an adult, he has to make those decisions. But he witnessed physical abuse, verbal abuse, he witnessed alcohol use and extreme alcohol use, he witnessed drug and methamphetamine use from not just friends, we're talking about people that were supposed to model good behavior and be a support system, and instead, like Dr. Fabian said, model behaviors which he mimicked later on. If we look at his statement in the PSI, now that he's been in custody, he's had time to reflect, we've gone over things. He admits one of the statements he says to the detective,
Now the defense tries to regain control. They highlight Michael's remorse, insight, and willingness to accept responsibility. They point to the psychological evaluation, meth-induced psychosis, and childhood trauma as factors that warped his thinking. This is a classic mitigation strategy, not to excuse the act, but to explain how he got here. And honestly, parts of it are compelling. Michael is young, untreated, unstable, and deeply damaged. But the judge must balance compassion with public safety, and the crime itself is brutal.
that person didn't do anything to me. Again, we're not trying to say that it was self-defense or anything like that. He wanted to take full responsibility for what he did. And he's doing that here today, and he continues to do that. But drugs, there's no question that the behaviors he witnessed in his childhood, combined with the drug use, affected his brain and his thinking, just like Dr. Fabian said. And Dr. Fabian said, well, with therapy and prescribed medication, continued treatment, and obviously staying sober, that he can try to change those behaviors and that way of thinking. And I think we've heard a little bit that it started going that way. Again, I think just the biggest thing is that he, from a young age, he has outside influences that were not even just neglect, but showing him the absolute wrong things to do at a young age, and how that impacted and influenced him to create mental health problems that went undiagnosed, that his parents never sought treatment for, that he never got treatment for until we were here today, until he was seen in the Bexar County Jail. There were some warnings from the continued methamphetamine use, and Michael's very honest with his drug and alcohol use, because he knows he needs to be, not only because we're in court, but because he wants and needs to get help and treatment at some point. And I think he's talked about getting an education, finishing high school, continuing to try to seek treatment while he's in prison, because obviously
The state fires back with full force, and this is where the tone gets intense. They remind the court that despite the trauma, despite the drugs, despite the poor upbringing, Michael made a choice that ended an innocent man's life. The victim, Paul, was simply trying to help. He wasn't threatening, he wasn't fighting, he was a plumber doing honest work. The prosecutor's message is powerful. Millions of people have trauma. Millions grow up in chaos, but they don't murder someone trying to help them. This pushes the courtroom toward a very clear outcome.
that is where we know that he's going to go under this plea bargain agreement. But again, I think just listening to Dr. Fabian and at a young age, it's easy to say, well, you were young and your sister's fine, so why can't you be fine? But that's not the way the world works.
Oh, I never do that.
That's not, I appreciate that. It's not the way everybody's brain works and develops. And so unfortunately, we're here today. He's very remorseful. He's very sorry for what he did. There's no getting around that. But we did want to bring the court some other things that were going on. We asked the court to take that into consideration and sentence Michael to 15 years.
All right, state.
Your Honor, for one, the defendant, we saw the photos that were presented to the court, and I know that is a snapshot, literally a snapshot of his childhood. But yet there are photos of his childhood, of him growing up, that he had some type of support system through grandparents and other individuals in his life. But he chose, yes, at a young age, not to proceed and take advantage of those people. What he chose to do is drop out of school and cut class and drink alcohol, use marijuana, and things that were detrimental to his mental health, anybody's mental health for that matter. For the fact is even in Dr. Fabian's report, he didn't start using methamphetamines and Xanax to the age of 18 at the time that he was an adult. So that at that point, Your Honor, he's making adult decisions that were detrimental to himself, not because of PTSD, not because of ADHD, because he chose to take the easier way and he wanted to go have drinks. He wanted to go smoke marijuana. The day of, he smoked marijuana with his mom's boyfriend. The day of, he just chose to do methamphetamine. That caused him to be voluntarily intoxicated, that he chose that path. So the fact that defense is asking for a sentence of 15 years is not appropriate in this case. 35 years in this type of case is appropriate because this person chose to go down the path he chose. Granted, everybody has their childhood, everybody has their past, If you really look at what the doctor said and what his parents said, yes, there was some violence in the household. There was substance abuse in the household, but there's many people sitting in this courtroom today that chose different paths. And some of them are on a rocky road, but the fact is they haven't murdered somebody and shot them in the head when that individual is just there to help them. And Mr. Butler was there to help. He was there helping.
Then we reach one of the most emotional moments in courtroom commentary history, Judge Boyd's monologue. She acknowledges Michael's trauma, but she absolutely unloads on his mother and stepfather. She calls them horrible parents, exposes their drug use, and highlights how they destroyed his chance at a stable life. But she also draws the line. Trauma explains behavior, but it does not erase responsibility. And with a man dead, the court must act. Her tone is harsh, but heartbreakingly honest, the type of truth most defendants never hear.
And he was a plumber, and this is the victim in this case. And that's just a tragedy right there, is that this individual is out there helping late at night, trying to get this house renovated. And this individual decides to get intoxicated off of meth, Xanax, and drinking and marijuana, and shoots him just blindly behind the head. And that right there, Your Honor, deserves a 35-year sentence. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Montoya, I want you to know that I listened to everything that's brought before me, and I consider all the evidence that's brought before me. I mean, do you deserve an apology? Yes. And you know why you deserve an apology? Because you had horrible parents in your life. Your mom, horrible parent, still a horrible parent to this day, using meth with you. She was horrible for bringing someone into your life as a stepfather who just got out of prison, using drugs with you. So you have horrible parents, horrible adults in your life. Your grandmother, it appears that your grandmother was trying to help you stay clean and sober, but then you have your horrible mom coming in and allowing you to live with her and use meth with her. That is ridiculous for your horrible mom to be using meth with you and rubber stamping it and okaying it. And then having your horrible stepfather who thinks he's a good stepfather, but there he is using drugs with you. And I guarantee you right now, your mother doesn't think she's a horrible parent, even though she's using meth with you. Your stepfather thinks he's doing a great job, even though he's using drugs with you. So I want you to know that I understand, and I heard everything, and I understand that you had a horrible upbringing. But by that same token, there's a complainant in this case, somebody who's dead, who had family who loved and cared about him, and he's just working, doing a job. This is not a situation where
The judge delivers the sentence, 35 years. You can feel the weight of it settle across the courtroom. It's not just punishment, it's separation. Separation from the environment that ruined him. Separation from the people who enabled him. Separation from the path that led him here. The judge even warns him, if he doesn't cut ties with the people poisoning his life, he'll return to the same cycle the moment he's free. It's one of the rare moments where punishment and tough love collide.
he was doing something illegal or doing something inappropriate. And whenever a life is taken, guess what? Society suffers because whatever they were bringing to this world, maybe for the benefit of others, we no longer have that. So when I sentence you today, I want you to know that I realize your childhood was horrible. And sometimes people have a childhood that's horrible and they make it out. And you wonder, how did they ever make it out? And then sometimes when children are taken from the hospital to be with their horrible parents, you know that they're going to have a horrible life. And you have had a horrible life with your horrible mother and your horrible stepfather. And I don't know what they're doing with your sister. I don't know if they're using meth with your sister or not. I don't know if there are other grandchildren that people are allowing your horrible mother and your horrible stepfather to be around. So I want you to know that I heard all of the testimony and I listened to it and I internalize it. Okay? So I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to 35 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Court will take in consideration 665-487 and 673-117. I'll ask for the therapeutic community. And I'll also ask, they do have mental health treatment at the prison. I'll ask for that as well. I don't have any jurisdiction to force them to do that. But if you request it and they see that I'm requesting it, they may be able to do that for you, okay? Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll go off the record. I know that this seems like a lot of time, and honestly, it is a lot of time, but it's time for you to understand how you got to the position where you are. And it's also time for you to grow and get away from other people. I can't tell you or force you not to have any conversations with your mom, but your mom means you no good. Because if she did, she wouldn't be using drugs with you. If she did, she would have told you, stay with your grandmother. I'm not a good parent because I'm using meth. She still thinks she's a good parent, using meth and bringing a criminal in your life who's using drugs, who on the outside comes in wearing a nice outfit, dressed appropriately for court, but he's still a drug user, and that's who she's bringing around you. The fact that she gave you a father who everybody said was not a good father, then what does she do? She brings boyfriend after boyfriend to be negative influences in your life. So whether or not you continue to have contact with her is completely up to you, but you need to work on yourself, because otherwise, when you get out of prison, and at some point you'll get out of prison, you're going to be right back where you started from. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you. Do we have victim impact?
We do have victim impact on.
This case is a tragic portrait of how trauma, addiction, and broken families can shape a young life, but also how one irreversible act can destroy another. Michael Montoya grew up surrounded by chaos, abandoned by responsible adults, and consumed by drugs. But at the end of the day, a man lost his life. The judge balanced compassion with accountability, and the victim's daughter offered something beyond justice: forgiveness. What do you think? Was 35 years fair? Should upbringing influence sentencing? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this breakdown powerful, hit like, share, and subscribe for more real courtroom analysis every week.
All right. I don't see anyone on, is that Cassandra Castro?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Ms. Castro?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Do you wish to show your video? All right. You may proceed, Ms. Castro.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Let me just click to my thing. Hello, Michael. My name is Cassandra. Sorry. I am Paul's only child. He was my father. And I wasn't sure before today if the two of you actually knew each other or if you just saw him for the first time that night. But let me just tell you a little bit about him that you may not know. He was also a grandfather to my 4 children. He was a father-in-law to my husband. He was a son. And he was a beloved and cherished brother. He was an uncle, a cousin, and a friend to everyone who knew him. My dad was not perfect, but he was loved by so many. He was funny, and he was always ready to have fun. He was an artist. I don't know if you knew that. He liked to draw, and he was a plumber by trade. He is so missed. by everyone in our family. And not being able to talk to him is not an easy thing. When I heard how old you were, my heart was broken. Not just because of the loss of my father, the loss that our family has experienced not having him around, but also because of the loss that I'm sure your family must feel not to be able to have you around anymore. Your life, their lives, and my family's lives will be different because the decisions that you've chosen to make. When I heard that I could speak to you, I wasn't sure what I was going to say, so I prayed about it. And it's taken me a while to get to this place. It's taken me a while to get here, but I want you to know that I forgive you for taking my father's life. That wasn't an easy choice for me to make, but I want you to know that. And it's taken a lot of prayers and tears and countless nights with Jesus to get me there. I was supposed to write a statement about how my father's death has affected me and my family, but I don't see how that's going to help much. What's going to help me heal is Jesus, and he'll walk me through every stage of healing that I need, and that's between him and I.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.